A warm welcome to each one of you. I'm Manjula here from Ivy Professional Bangalore. And thank you for taking out time today for us and all the online people also. Thank you for joining today. So basically today we have called Mr. Vishal Tripathy, who has been an Ivy alumni. He had joined Ivy in the year 2020, and he is in fact a MSc in statistics from Calcutta, economics from Calcutta University. But today he is, in fact, purely working in the field of data by doing a data science course with Ivy. So Ivy Professional, as you know, is basically into the field of data since the year 2007. 2007 was a time when not many players were, I mean, the data was not as much there as much it is now today in the current scenario. So this is all because of data. Today, data is playing a very critical role in everyone's life. The way we communicate, the way we live our life, too much of data is getting generated, and the same generated data has been used effectively to make our lives more comfortable. So Vishal has made a great career from the field of data, and today we want him to, like many students keep approaching him, asking him for advice. So Ivy always endeavors to, call these students and make them talk to the students who are now trying to make a career in the field of data. So Vishal, thank you for coming here. And we have some students here and people who want to join us, but there are a lot of questions they have in mind that we are from different field. Will you be able to make a mark in the field of data? So please just tell them like how we can make data a career in data, and also like what are the new things which are happening in the field of data. Thank you. Okay.
So, should I speak? Should I speak?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, my career into the data science industry has been a very roller coaster journey, rather, I would say, because in the initial days after completing my master's in economics with statistics and mathematics, so I have started my career with a consultancy company, which is Ipsos, which basically works on marketing analytics and retail domain, that is FMCG, CPG, and some pharmaceutical clients. But they mainly focus on the marketing analytics part, means that is widely used as marketing mix modeling. So marketing mix modeling is nothing but it uses a generalized linear model in a much more structured manner in order to predict the values based on the. So they mainly worked on the sales volume data, which has been the dependent variable, and we have to see the effect of various media campaigns that they mostly do, like with the help of TV GRPs or any digital media GRPs, like not actually GRPs, impressions, the term they mostly use in marketing mix modeling aspect. So the variables have been categorized into two broader parts. One is the media variables, and the second one is the base variables or the macro variables. So basically, the media variables comprises of the TV GRPs, radio GRPs, out of home impressions, then spend, support, and for the digital media, they have used matrices like impression, clicks, and for macro variables, they have been the major driver in determining the output of the dependent variable, that is the sales, where they have used like CPI, CCI, that is consumer confidence index, consumer price index, then average price level, then GDP, unemployment. So how they have been impacting the sales or temperature or some weather conditions also. So marketing mix modeling basically deals with this aspect as a whole. So I have been into the marketing mix modeling domain for more than 3 years, like around 4 years like that. So in between, I have also worked on pricing models, which mainly deals with the pricing of a particular product, whether it's a new launch product or an improvement of the existing product that is going to be launched by any organization or a product-based company like ITC, then Hindustan Unilever, or Colgate, Palmolive, PNG. So these are some product-based companies. So basically, data science applications catering into two parts. One is the service-based companies, another is product-based companies. So first you need to understand that what are these two variations of the organizations all about. Service-based companies like EXL, I don't know, might be many of you have heard of these terms. EXL, Deloitte, PwC, EY, KPMG, then McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group. Then these are some big organizations consulting, one of the top three, top four, big threes. Then Extria, they mostly work on pharmaceutical domains with the pharmaceutical product companies, like I just mentioned, Novartis, then Cipla. So EXL is a consultancy company which works with various domains: finance, pharmaceutical, marketing, even fractal. They mainly focuses on FMCG domain, fractal analytics. Tiger Analytics, they work on multiple domains. It's like EXL only. You can also say that it's a close competitor. So these are the companies which provide analytical solutions and services to the major clients, major giants who are product-based companies. It can be a bank like Ujjivan Bank or HSBC or Standard Chartered, American Express, Visa. They are mainly famous for the credit cards. Visa, credit card, debit card. They mainly build, or they mainly deal with the product that is cards. Visa. American Express itself is a bank, but they started their in journey as a financial services. Even every bank, this initially starts with a financial services. Then they seek for the guidelines, or they, after going through the guidelines, maintaining the norms and regulation which are given by the central bank of any country. For our case, it is RBI. For America, it is Federal Reserve. For European countries, it is European Central Bank, ECB. So after following all the guidelines and all the norms, they finally get the license to establish a complete bank. How a financial organization or an institution gets transformed into a bank. Similarly, for the product-based pharmaceutical companies, like I have mentioned, they have their in-house analytics, data science team, and a research team, a very strong R&D team, which focuses on data-driven solutions and technology along with it in order to produce pharmaceutical drugs or medicines like the COVID vaccine. This first initiative was taken by Pfizer and Novartis. They have their own research house into their organization. So you must have see, because data science is all about data. We all know this, but how to deal with the data, what conclusion we can come up with the data, what deep dive analysis can we do with the data in order to understand the data. First, first you have to know the theoretical background. I'm focusing on this aspect because data science in today's scenario, means post-COVID scenario, it has become very challenging and difficult. For me, it has been a very difficult journey because for out of the 5 years of journey in data science, 90% of my time has gone into retail and marketing domain. So retail and marketing domain, mainly pricing analytics, marketing mix modeling, it's fine. But these consultancies, they work in their in-house tools, which has no implication outside the organization. So coding comes in that part. But before coding, you have to know what is the theoretical context and underlying logic behind it. For example, you are working on a model. Let's start with a model. You are working on a model, suppose linear regression. In order to say that by seeing the data, whatever predictive models, statistical models can be built using the machine learning algorithms. Machine learning algorithms is a technique. Linear regression is a technique. Python, SAS, R is a tool. Technique and tool. Fine. This is how you are marrying technique and tool. But another important thing that you have to marry, that is the conceptual knowledge. Why are we going to use this particular technique in this particular tool only? Why not something else? This question needs to be catered. This how and why. I'm focusing every time to every student, focus on this how and why state, these two words. These two words are very important because what I have felt in my 5 years of journey in data science, that until and unless maybe there are mixture of candidates who are coming from different backgrounds. Some might be coming from engineering background, some might be coming from commerce background, either they have done BCom or BBA. Someone who is coming from economics background, eco-stats maths background, someone who is coming from normal English background, English language, English literature. What they will understand, someone from philosophy background, psychology background, what they will understand about data, what they will understand about this regression, about all these terminologies. They have not come across these terminologies ever in their life before. So how will they be able to make it? That needs to be catered, right? So for any candidate who is coming from diversified background, it needs to be understand first and foremost that understand the concept very well. Before applying it, understand it theoretically, because data science has its application is in numerous domains like pharmaceutical domains, BFSI domain. These two are major giant domains where data science is widely used. Because BFSI, what I have seen for the last 3 months, it is extensively used in the models. And we have numerous data that we are going to play with every day. Lots of brainstorming has to be done. But if you don't understand the data, if you don't have the underlying logic and concept behind it, what needs to be done and how it needs to be done, tools, writing some line of codes in R or Python will not help. It will not help. After a certain point of time, you will get stuck. So logical understanding needs to be cleared at the beginning itself. Why linear regression? Why? Why logistic regression? Why gradient descent? Why support vector emission? Why clustering? Why time series? The underlying logic, get the logic cleared out in the first stage itself. Then only you can be able to move ahead with the modeling stages.
There's one question actually. It's Mr. Deepak Sarkar. He's pursuing postgrad in data science.
Okay.
As a fresher, recommend few projects apart from Kaggle common projects.
Okay, so Kaggle common project. So that is a very common folder platform, data-driven platform. Other than that, you can also use the government websites like MOSPI, RBI. But first, he needs to understand what is the business objective or the problem statement, what he's trying to cater to. First, frame the business problem, because this problem statement, yes, this is very important thing. Before looking at the data, the another important thing that needs to be catered is the understanding of the business problem or problem statement that we always get. Suppose based on the data set, suppose you're given a banking data set. Suppose you're given a banking data set where you have to identify whether the bank should provide loan or not provide loan. Means either it's a go non-go decision, go not go decision. So this, in order to cater this decision, you need a certain set of variables, certain set of parameters which need to be addressed. So in order to address, so this is my problem statement. What is my problem statement? That whether the bank will decide whether to give the loan or not. It is a binary decision. If the bank gives the loan, it's 1. If the bank denies to give the loan, it's taking 0. So this decision needs to be catered in the framing of the business problem. Then only you can move ahead with the steps from there on. So yes, RBI can be one of the platforms, MOSPI can be one of the platforms, then NABARD can be one of the platforms. These are all BFSI platforms. For marketing platforms, you can tell him to visit the various companies' website, especially on the products and services section. They might have some data sets for the pharmaceutical companies. They have some different that common data sets. They also upload the common data sets, and for the marketing projects, they also have some different data sets altogether in the products and services. So Kaggle is one of the underlying data source platform, but yes, those are the various possible, because see, data can be found in multiple sources. So in order to frame the problem, a candidate also needs to keep in mind what are the possible sources where I can get the authenticated data, because data authenticity is another important thing, very much important. Data authenticity, whether I'm getting the correct data or not. Because let me share with you my experience. I was doing a COVID project. It's a time series model. So what I felt, or I have seen rather, there is a significant difference in the number of COVID cases that has been registered, number of people who have died out of the COVID, that first wave, especially the first wave, and later on the second wave also. In the government website, the data that has been uploaded in the government website, the data that has been given or published in the newspapers, and the data I have got from Kaggle, there has been a significant difference. And that has been catered very diligently by me and one of my contributing professors, because we had a joint paper and that has got published also. So the major significant difference that we have found is the number of samples that has been tested. In government website, it has been showed at a very significant smaller amount, whereas in Kaggle, it is showing a significantly larger amount. COVID cases, there is a huge difference. See, if the number of samples that has been tested is less, the number of reported cases will also be less. It is a positive correlation. So this needs to be understood. This is the first stepping stone of understanding the data and also analyzing or assessing the authenticity of the data. Next question.
Yeah, the next question is, I have applied for more than 5 companies recently. They are looking for CSE background, stroke IT experience. How to deal with this question?
Okay. So just ask that candidate from which background he or she is coming from, and which are the companies they have he or she has applied for.
In the meantime, I'd like
Yes.
to pass that I waited for 10 to 15 minutes to join this session.
Mm-hmm.
But thing is that like you are talking about the concepts. Okay. So I just want to understand like I started with the course on data analytics prior. After that, I'll move to data science only. So if I want to start my preparation,
From which background are you?
Okay, so if I give you my background, in my grads I have done BBA.
Okay.
After that, currently I'm working on for last 3 years. I'm working on digital marketing. Currently, I'm associated with Publicis Group. So I'm working as associate manager in the programmatic. It's a domain level of another domain.
So what are you working? What is your role?
Okay, so role is basically I am doing the market. I'm giving the marketing solution to Kellogg's USA.
Okay.
So,
Kellogg's USA.
Correct.
It's a very good plant.
So Kellogg's USA. So I am currently dealing with the multiple product like fast moving breakfast and dry breakfast and wet breakfast, two particular categories.
So the cereal based breakfast
Cereal
products you are
correct,
dealing. Very good.
correct. So I'm just providing the marketing and majorly on the branding portion
Okay.
because they have a
Branding and strategy assessment.
strategy assessment.
Very good.
Yes. So the thing is that I'm just doing full and end-to-end campaign management, but on the programmatic, it's a bit technical side of the digital marketing.
Okay.
So social, I earlier I used to work on social, but now my current job role is programmatic.
Okay.
So that's like when I started working on the strategy part, I have seen that I need to work a lot of things with data, right? So studying the previous data, I need to predict the data. What will be the amount of estimation that can a company achieve in the due course of time? So that kind of prediction.
Did you get to know about his background?
He's a civil engineer.
Civil engineer. So okay, so the answer that I'll be going to give will cover both your questions.
Okay, perfect. So this is a particular thing. Now, like continuing the programmatic, like now I've seen that I need to study the data. I need some kind of expertise just to see the behavior of the data, how it's moving on the past, and understand the market behavior. And after that, that will gonna help to giving my like on job role as well, like giving a will benefit in my on job particular thing as well as side by side I can explore a different domain in data analytics. Eventually, the ultimate goal is to get into the data science, right? That is a much bigger goal, but yeah, that will take some time. But just want to ask you, it's a simple question. We have to talk about pretty much a basic concept like I see model integration is a school-based stats that we have also studied in grads as well. So all these particular stats and maths that you are speaking about. So what kind of like material, like see now we have got access to this college books and everything. So if you can give us some kind of a like portal or some kind of access point where we can get a at least a fast moving knowledge from all this particular stats basic thing so that our basic understanding gets cleared out once we get into the because this kind of a program is at least 6 months or 1 year. So getting an understanding all this from what we have left behind to understand all this particular year and just implement into the particular data science field, that will be pretty much difficult. So if I want to start preparing from now, so what kind of access point should I take care?
Okay, so it will cover his question as well, the answer that I will be going to give. So you are coming from BBA background.
Correct.
Means commerce, pure commerce and finance.
Marketing.
Okay, marketing. Okay. He is coming from civil engineering. So basically, these two are very end goals where data science has very, very limited, though in your domain there is some bit of application, but in civil engineering, very limited application. So in order to answer both of your questions, I would suggest that you have to focus more on conceptual knowledge building from the basics, especially in statistics and later econometrics. Statistics, why? Because there are some books which is like O'Reilly. I don't know whether you have heard the publisher or not. O'Reilly publisher's book. O'Reilly. Then you can also refer to some Penguin publisher's book. So focus more on the statistical applications in data science using machine learning. because statistics and machine learning goes hand in hand. Machine learning is just like a nave without statistics. And where the role of economics come when a particular candidate is focusing on a particular domain, like BFSI, where actually, I don't know whether you have heard of actuarial science. So actuarial science is a very wide concept and it has a wide application in data science as well. Actuarial analyst, many organization they hire for actuarial analyst. So what they deals with the actuarial, like financial econometrics, financial mathematics, actuarial economics, actuarial statistics. So I think you all are getting this point that economics, statistics, and mathematics, mixture of three, they are actually supporting the whole data science industry. So now, let me just finish the answer. So building the conceptual understanding is very important. Start with the basics, how it is going, why it is going, how and why. Again, how and why. And then only you can be able to relate with the data that you are dealing or working on a daily basis. Because coding comes on a later part, application comes on a later part. First, understand the theoretical concept for why you are doing that.
I belong to MSc Economics. How should I then prepare to enter into the job market? How to apply or which company should I target for analytics domain? So I think this is your
Yes. So basically, in order to answer this question, I would like to highlight, see, economics, since the candidate is coming from economics, statistics, mathematics background. So you must be familiar with statistics. So brush up with all the economic, especially econometrics and statistics concept. Some portions of macroeconomic concept needs to be catered. Mark this point, this is very important. Statistics along with econometrics and macroeconomics. Econometrics. Econometrics. Along with macroeconomic concepts. Try to do some capstone projects related to various domains, like it can be of BFSI domain, like fraud detection, or whether their decision science of whether to give a loan or not by any bank. Work on this capstone project end to end. Try to understand the data, the underlying, and try to relate with the underlying logic that he or she is studying or has studied in his master's days. And also try to apply the logical understanding with the help of tools and techniques. If he or she is an IB student, then familiarity with the tools and techniques will not be a problem. But where to apply the logic and how to apply the logic and why, where, how, and why will come together. Where to apply? Because if the problem statement is of a logistic regression, I will not be applying linear regression. So where it is coming? How to apply logistic regression? For that, we have to know the equational structure. And how to apply the logistic regression? The forthcoming steps. How, where, and why. Or where, how, and why. Anyway. So, okay. So, what are the companies she should focus? See, if she or she is a fresher, then product-based companies, the data means the data science industry scenario today, based on that, I am telling. Product-based company, they look for at least 3+ years of experience. It will be better if she or she is applying for a service-based company, whether it's EXL or PwC or Ipsos. They hire freshers. So service-based organizations should be catered in the initial days. Like I have also started with the service-based industry. Product-based comes on a later part.
For an electrical engineering background,
Hmm.
could you please share me the possible projects or how it will help me in the near future? I have worked in electrical department.
Electrical engineering, that candidate can work upon. I don't have much idea about electrical engineering, but some electrical thermal power plants projects can be catered. Tell him try to see the data that they have, because data is available in every sector, in every domain, in every organization. Try to see the data, and after seeing the data, try to come up with some solution, some baseline solutions, because until and unless you prepare for a baseline solution, it cannot be enhanced further. So try to build some baseline solution, what can be done with that data, how conclusive can the results be if he or she is working with that data coming from an electrical engineering background or that kind of organization. But if or she, because see, what I have known so far, electrical engineering or application of data science in electrical engineering does not have a much wider scope. So he needs to shift to either some CAC based domain, CAC domain based project, or some domain where data science or data driven solutions are widely used.
Okay, no, many more questions have come. Can you guide for the healthcare industry?
Yes, absolutely. So healthcare basically, see, this is where the role comes of being and being a candidate where he or she needs to break the black box. What is breaking the black box? Black box is something which is structured and organized and mainstream because people are following a certain path. Candidate one is doing a data science course. He or she is landing up in some organization in a job. I also started following that path. To some extent, it is good, but for a longer time frame, it is not very valuable. Why you know? Because when the organization will start analyzing or assessing your skills, your mindset, and your way of interpreting the solutions which they are asking for, they will surely think and they will come to this conclusion: he or she is just following the herd behavior. Someone has done it, someone has achieved a certain thing, he or she is just following his path. What I have done, I have started my career in retail and marketing domain. Fine, very good. But I always had a passion to achieve something extraordinary by staying in that role. And how did I achieve? I started preparing myself for BFSI development. What kind of models they work on, what kind of predictive solutions they ask for from a particular candidate, what kind of domain knowledge they are trying to cater in the interviews, what kind of background knowledge they are asking for. Everything, domain knowledge, whether it's BFSI, whether it's healthcare, like healthcare, they normally ask for biostatisticians. So biostatistician, what is the number? Very few come from biostatistics background, but only those will get job. No. In order, see, a job can be start in the initial days from a very different domain, but in order to shift the domain, you have to read about that domain, do an extensive R&D about that particular domain, especially healthcare, BFSI, because these are giant domains. So domain knowledge is very important. Along with that, your background knowledge, whether you're coming from economics or statistics or computer science, any domain. Because a computer science student he will be very good in programming, coding. So he needs to study more on the domain knowledge. He needs to know about the domain knowledge, do a very thorough research. What are the organizations are doing? What solutions they are asking for? What solutions they are working on currently? And along with that, the subject oriented knowledge, that is statistics, machine learning techniques, how to go about those techniques, how to apply those techniques. It is applicable for both healthcare and as well as BFSI. That is how I have landed up in this job, because my organization have asked for a experienced candidate who have thoroughly worked on credit risk models or BFSI domain models. But I don't have any work experience in that. So how did I made an achievement and holding such a great position? This is the reason. Build the domain knowledge. Means get hold of your subject-oriented knowledge at a very strong grip, and then mix them, marry them both. Domain knowledge, subject-oriented knowledge. If these two are being catered 70 to 80%, then if you know very less of programming, that will not be a very extensive or a very what should I say, very strong issue, because that can be applied, that can be taught and learned. That is not a problem. Institute is there. But how to apply, how to question the answers, how to answer the questions by mixing the subject oriented knowledge as well as the domain knowledge, whether it is for healthcare or whether it's for BFSI. So healthcare works on a large number of projects, like cancer cell detection is one of the problem statement where they use advanced machine learning algorithms, some neural network techniques also, and they also come up with various solutions how to introduce a particular new drug for a vaccine for an upcoming disease, or for a disease which has been dormant for the last few years, but suddenly it has popped up. So some new techniques in the existing vaccines or the drugs needs to be done, needs to be catered. But for that, identification of those disease cells needs to be catered first. Like that is what? Framing the business problem. Then only solution can be put.
Okay, one more question. Any sites where we can get capstone projects example or any use case?
Kaggle can be one of the possible sites, but it has very limited access to full staged capstone project. But other website, I think the Shani ma'am and Pratik sir will be the best person to guide, because I don't have very much experience about the capstone project, because I am completely unknown to that particular phase altogether.
Another, which tool should I focus as a fresher? Or while preparing for interview, which tool I should focus more as a fresher?
Python. Python or can be the one of the possible. Now see, tool based, when it is the issue of tool based problem, he or she needs to decide that whether that candidate is trying to go to data engineering domain, ask what is the background, and in which, see, data science has got three broader domains: data analytics, data scientist, data engineering. So just ask the background. Good scope, very upcoming, very prominent scope. Yes.
So I worked on this project called hydroponics. Hydroponics.
Okay. What is this project all about?
It's basically growing plants without the use of soil.
Without use of soil?
Yes.
Okay.
The only there's a setup is different. Quite complicated. So in that we had this is a part of machine learning.
Okay. What machine learning technique? What is the business problem altogether?
It's basically to
or let's forget about the business problem. Problem statement. Tell me the
problem statement is to basically set up fertilization plants where the conditions are very tolerant. For example, in places like, I'm just giving a random example. For places where there's no proper sunlight, or let's say there's soil infertility.
Okay.
In such places, we'll obviously need some natural vegetation, right?
Right.
So in such places, how, like, I just wanted to ask if data science will come into.
Definitely. Because a lot of parameters needs to be catered, like what has been the soil fertility for the historical time period.
Okay.
why the degradation in the soil quality has occurred, what are the causal factors that has caused to the infertility, why are we adopting the natural vegetation technique or natural fertilizer technique. So in order to answer your question, first work more on the problem statement and see what can be the possible variables or parameters that will affect your solution to this particular problem. Technique is something which comes later. Machine learning algorithm is a technique. So what machine learning algorithm is? Decision tree, a random forest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not too
Yes.
much into coding in this, but yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Do you know why have you used random forest? See, random forest basically gives a collection of decision trees and it bifurcates your decision based on certain parameters. So the splitting of the trees into various nodes, terminal nodes or leaf nodes, because at the leaf nodes you arrive at a conclusion or a decision. Like what should be the possible, what can be the possible predicted values, how that variable is significantly impacting your dependent variable. So that decision tree or a random forest gives a much more clear picture based on the problem statement that you have just told in front of me, and right in within a second, that is the technique that comes with the experience. That this is the problem statement, this is the data set, this solution needs to be done, this is the technique. Very step by step, very systematic. Okay. Has the background got to know what is the background?
MSc economics background.
That is covered.
No, the same.
Same
Which
MSc in
sector?
economics. Which tool that you are asked? Which tool needs to be covered in order to prepare for the data science interviews? Okay, so let me
Okay, there's
just
another
answer.
question. Can I ask that?
Okay, let me just finish this question. So basically, data science has got three categories: data analytics, data scientist, data engineering. What data analytics, what tools they use? They use mainly Excel, SQL, basics of Python like NumPy, Pandas, that is the data manipulation language techniques, the libraries rather, and any visualization tool, whether it is Tableau or Power BI. Some organization use ClickView, ClickSense. All these are visualization. Basically, what they do, they automate the reports and dashboard, reporting and analytics. But the problem statement or the solution does not end over here. In order to arrive at some decision, you need a full stack decision science, in which I am into. So decision science problem, when this problem comes, the role of data scientists comes, which mainly works on advanced statistical models, advanced machine learning algorithms, then building some predictive models, which is my area of specialization. So basically, in order to cater this particular question, the candidate needs to understand or rather take a decision in the initial days of the career that which side he or she wants to go, whether he wants to remain in data analytics domain or data science domain or data engineering domain. Data engineering domain, they mainly work with the Azure workspace or some SSIR, some SQL Server reporting studio or integration studio, SSIS. So data engineering, they work mainly on the data pipeline, data warehousing. So there you need to have a candidate who is coming from an engineering background and a BTech background. Data analytics can be handled for us by a student who is coming either from a commerce background or a statistics economics background or an engineering background. It is more or less an easy domain comparatively. But data scientist domain is the most challenging part because that particular wing is contributing 80% of the decision science of the whole data science industry. That decision science management needs to be catered at a wider space. Over there, role of statistics, econometrics, machine learning algorithms, tools like Python, R. Even some organization have used or have been using SAS as well, but they have started shifting from SAS to Python because Python has got a much more wider access in building the machine learning models in a much more quicker and quick manner and very easily interpretable as well for big data, for handling big data. So this decision needs to be cleared in the mind of the students before they start or before they jump into the career of data science. Next question.
This is Rishi Jindal. He's saying I'm a math student.
Sorry, which student?
MAC, math student in maths.
Maths.
I'll just read out the question. I'm a math student in maths, and how will data science help me in my upcoming career or stream I choose? Suppose, and then he's continuing further. Suppose I start a clothing brand as a startup.
Okay.
So, what kind of course would you suggest me for managing unit to elevate my company? Marketing.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's a marketing analytics problem statement. So marketing analytics needs to be catered in order to see, since it's a clothing company, so what kind of apparels or what kind of clothing he or she is addressing towards in order to cater to the majority of the customers. So garments and clothing have various segments. Like shirts is one category. These are all product segmentation. Shirts is one category, pants is one category, t-shirt is one category, jeans is one category, then boxer is one category. There are multiple categories, and multiple each of the category has got its own problem statement, has got its own sales data. In order to go ahead with the sales data or the revenue data, you have to first understand that what kind of advertising or media campaigns your needs to cater to. Like it can be, see, advertising campaigns or media campaigns can be thought of in two perspectives. One is the online digital platform, and another is traditional media platform. Traditional media platform can take like billboards, out of home expenditure, showing the ads on TVs or radios. Then some print media can be taken care of. Then handout pamphlets can be taken care of about the companies, about the products which they are selling. And on the online, based on the online media platform, like Facebook impression, like giving an ad or airing an ad in any digital platform, whether it's in Facebook or in Instagram or it's in Twitter or in any online web portal, which can be able to capture the maximum responses, because what we are actually extracting from the customers is the response. What is GRPs? It is response. Gross rating points. What is impression? It is response. Per million customer, how many responses are being recorded? Per 300 or per 100 customers, how many rating points have been recorded? These are all responses, number of responses from the customer. That needs to be catered in order to build any statistical model based on the business problem or based on the products he or she is dealing with. That needs to be the first strategy. And secondly is the spend, the cost of expenditure, the investment that needs to be done in each of the media campaigns. Like for TV, radio, out of home, the cost buckets can be a different one. For online media platforms, the cost bucket will be a different one. So that bifurcation in cost and media spend needs to be catered in order to build some statistical models, or rather decision science problem, to solve any decision science problem. Next question.
So we have to wind up by 7. So just I'll quickly read out the which companies are providing decision science role for freshers?
Companies like HSBC, then PwC, then KPMG is there, then Ipsos is there, then Nielsen is there, then Citibank to some extent, Standard Chartered, they hire mostly the experienced candidates. American Express, same. Even means even the until unless the candidate is coming from or he's been taken from university campus interview, and off campus, it is very difficult to say because organizations have restructured their criteria in a more difficult manner, especially the decision science. So, in order to cater the companies, the candidate in the initial phases, he have to be a multitasking individual. Like he have to know about the healthcare sector, he have to know about the BFSI domain, he have to know about the marketing analytics. So these three are main companies which the organization really look forward to. And along with that, tools and technologies knowledge is important, but the underlying theoretical understanding needs to be addressed at a very strong pace, strong manner.
Pawan Kumar, for data science domain, we can start from data analytics and move to data science.
No,
or
very
directly
difficult.
into Data.
It has been, the journey has been a smooth one pre-COVID, but post-COVID, it has got difficult because if a candidate is starting in, listen to what this thing very clearly, it's very important. If a candidate is starting a core or a career in data analytics, then after a year or so, if the candidate wants to move to data scientist domain, it will be a very challenging one until and unless the candidate comes up with an extraordinary talent acquisition or skill acquisition, which the organization will think that yes, this candidate has worked on that particular field in spite of being into the data analytics field. So he can be a potential candidate. Very difficult, very difficult, the transition. Pre-COVID, it was easier, but post-COVID, especially in today's scenario, organizations are dealing with these candidates who wants to transit from data analytics to data scientist. Very difficult. Very difficult. From a data scientist also, they don't prefer to go to data analytics because it mainly deals with the reporting and visualization or dashboard automation. But data scientist is where the major role comes. And also it will depend upon the interest of those candidates as well. Next question.
This is the last one. I'm Sogata from BTech in computer science, currently working for a government bank for 5 years now. I've got into data analytics and then transitioned to data science. What should be my strategy?
Okay, so the strategy should be whatever she has learned from data analytics, try to bring those up into a much more modified manner, that how those reports or the insight or values from the reports can be used to frame a problem statement in such a manner where decision science will come into the picture. And for that, she needs to have a very strong understanding of statistics, machine learning techniques, along with the backup of tools like R, Python, etc.
So I think we have covered most of the questions.
Any more questions? Still we have time.
No. The last one, how should I prepare for your organization as a fresher for analytics role?
Organization, my organization. Oh, see, again, data science is the major domain. So what data analytics role specifically or data scientist role, which specifically, that role will determine his preparatory aspect altogether, because I have told this initial part of my lecture also, that data analytics is a separate subwing, data scientist is a separate subwing. So if the requirement is for data scientist role, then if the candidate is having the skills of SQL, Tableau, Power BI, basics of Python, Excel, then that candidate will not be a good fit for that role. So he or she needs to prepare for the role and job responsibility and requirement from any organization, whether it is my organization or any organization. So that role job requirement needs to be understood very clearly. What exactly they are asking for. If it is a data scientist role, then statistics, machine learning, econometrics, then tools like R, Python, and if it's a data analytics role, then basics of statistics will do, but mainly focuses on dashboard or visualization automation using Tableau or Power BI, SQL, Excel, some basics of Python codes will suffice. No problem with that.
Last question, data science versus data analyst, which is better for me? I'm from electrical engineering background, worked in power generation and distribution unit.
Okay, so basically, data science is a major domain. Again, candidates are getting confused. Data science is a parent domain. The child domains are data analytics, data scientist, data engineer. So, if the which domain the candidates come from?
Electrical engineering background. worked in-
Electrical. Okay, electrical engineering. So, if the candidate is aspiring to become a data analyst, then SQL, basics of Python, Tableau, or Power BI, along with Excel will do basics of statistics. But if he's trying to get into data scientist role, then he has to focus more on theoretical understanding of statistics, all of the statistical terminologies, machine learning algorithms, and how it can be applied with the help of tools like R and Python. Will have to be done.
Okay, I think we are done then. Deepam Sarkar is add to this question to previous question. I'm also working in research paper adversarial attack on CNN. How to showcase this in the interview?
Yes. So, which domain? Ask which domain is coming from.
So Deepam
So what kind of
Sarkar-
research paper has you worked on? Even along with data science, I am also into the academics as well because I write lots of research papers, and two of them I have written, one on BFSI domain and one on this COVID domain. So one has already got published 2 years back in a national book, and one is about to get published because the acceptance letter is already there. I've got the acceptance letter. So it is getting published from London, UK. So it's a BFSI, it's a very strong paper. So it has got accepted and it's going to get published also. So I work on research and development also, like write research papers. So coming to his question, research papers can be highlighted by adding the problem statement into the biodata, how the problem statement has been addressed, what techniques or tools have been used, and what is the solution that has been arrived, and how it can be matched. Very important. How it can be linked and matched with the role he is applying for. That is very important because that needs to be aligned. Since I have written a paper on BFSI, completely on BFSI, that has matched with my role. So that alignment needs to be understood very clearly, because then only you can be able to clearly explain your paper, what you have done, and you can be able to convince the interviewers.
Okay. So time to conclude. But questions will keep coming.
Okay,
so
okay. So in conclusion, I would rather say that see, data science is the most booming career nowadays. Students and candidates are coming from diversified fields, domains. What needs to be understood is that how a data in a real life can be catered, or how it should, because the vision of data visualizing, not this with the help of any tool, initial visualization of data, reading the data, understanding the data, then only you can be able to come up with some data-driven solutions with the help of some data-driven technologies. So understanding the data, aligning it with the subjects and domain knowledge in whichever domain you are working or whichever industry you are working for, very, very important. Problem statement, come up with various problem statements. Then only you can be able to relate it with the data that you are working with, and you can be able to come up with various solutions. So theoretical understanding is the first and foremost thing and the most prioritizing thing which needs to be understood on the basic part. Then only you can be able to apply and validate those results, because result validation, or any result validation, you need to understand the concepts, to have a grip on the concept, whatever you have acquired, especially irrespective of whichever domain you are coming from. And it will be very hard for a student who is coming from humanities background like English or any philosophy or any psychological subjects like this, history. They have to work very, very hard, and industries, organizations have made it very clear in the recruitment criteria that candidates from this background are not eligible for the data science role. Make it a very clear point. And one more important thing, subject oriented knowledge along with domain knowledge with the application in tools and techniques. This three is playing a very vital role. They are not shortlisting the candidates who are coming from any humanities background. And another thing, students, please get it very clear that any graduation degree will not help you to get a data science job, whether it's a BCom or a BSc or a BCA or anything. You have to have a master's degree, whether it's MSc or MA. In some universities they give MA in economics, some MSc, but masters needs to be there. And if it is a BTech, it's fine, no problem. But only BCA will not do. You have to do an MCA. So please make sure graduation students are not eligible to land up into a data science job, whether it's a data analytics or data scientist, to just forget it. This is the industry requirement in the current scenario, because they have completely revamped the eligibility criteria in a complete different manner altogether, and they are very strict to it, even my organization.
Thank you so much for such a insightful session. And these questions will also be further get added, but we will be in touch with you to get it answered.